Commander Jiwan stared at the holographic display floating above his desk. The blue and green planet slowly rotated in the light, showing vast oceans and brown continents. After 3 months of deep scans, System K7739 looked perfect for a new colony. "Final report, Lieutenant Minho," Jiwan said, not taking his eyes off the beautiful world. Minho checked his data pad one more time. "No signs of intelligent life, sir. No cities, no technology, no radio signals. The atmosphere is perfect for most species in the hegemony. Plenty of fresh water and good soil for farming." Jiwan smiled. Finding a world like this was rare. Most planets were either too hot, too cold, or already claimed by someone else. This one seemed like a gift from the universe. "Any dangerous animals?" Jiwan asked. "Some large creatures in the forests and oceans, but nothing our settlers can't handle. The survey team says it's actually safer than most colony worlds." Dr. Somin, the team's life science expert, looked up from her microscope. "The plant life is amazing, Commander. Some of the fruits and vegetables could feed millions of people. This planet could support huge colonies." Jiwan made his decision. "Send the report to Colony Command. Mark System K7739 as ready for immediate settlement." 3 months later, the largest colony fleet in hegemony history approached the system. 3 massive ships, each carrying 50,000 hopeful families, moved slowly through space toward their new home. The lead ship, called Prosperity, was so big it looked like a flying city. Captain Hayek stood on the bridge of Prosperity, watching the planet grow larger on the main screen. His wife Yunji stood beside him, both of them thinking about their new life ahead. "Hard to believe we're really doing this," Yunji whispered. "Leaving everything behind for a completely new world." "It's going to be perfect," Hyuk replied. "Our children will grow up with clean air, open spaces, and no crowded cities. They'll have opportunities we never had." Behind them, navigation. Officer Sungho was busy with his instruments. "Beginning orbital insertion in 10 minutes, Captain. All systems are working perfectly." Throughout the ship, 50,000 colonists were getting ready for their new lives. Families packed their belongings. Children pressed their faces against small windows trying to see their new home planet. Everyone was excited and a little nervous. Dr. Jamin, the ship's chief medical officer, was in his office preparing medical supplies for the landing. "We'll need to be careful about local diseases," he told his assistant, Nurse Boyoung. "Even if the scans say it's safe, we should be ready for anything." In the ship's main hall, Teacher Dahyun was explaining to a group of children what they might find on the planet. "There will be new animals to see, new plants to study, and lots of room to run and play. You'll help build the first schools on a brand new world." Captain Hyuk felt proud as he listened to the happy voices throughout his ship. These people trusted him to bring them safely to their new home. He would not let them down. "Entering the planet's gravity field now," Sungho reported. "Everything looks normal." The ship began to shake gently as it entered the atmosphere. This was normal during landing procedures. Hyuk had done this many times before on other worlds. Suddenly something was wrong. The ship's computer began making warning sounds. Red lights flashed on every control panel. "What's happening?" Hyuk shouted over the noise. Sungho's face went white as he stared at his instruments. "Captain, I'm reading an energy signature from the planet's surface. Something very powerful is pointing at us." "That's impossible," Yunji said. "The scans showed no technology down there." Before anyone could react, a brilliant beam of light shot up from the planet below. It moved faster than anything Hayek had ever seen. The beam hit Prosperity with perfect accuracy, right in the main engine section. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from space. Prosperity, with all 50,000 people inside, disappeared in a ball of fire and light. Pieces of the great ship scattered across the darkness like deadly stars. On the other 2 colony ships, alarms screamed as everyone watched their sister ship die. Captain Minsu of the second ship, New Hope, could not believe what he was seeing. "Full reverse engines," he shouted to his crew. "Get us away from that planet now." The 2 remaining ships turned and ran as fast as they could. Behind them, the burning pieces of Prosperity fell toward the planet like a terrible rain. In the communications room of New Hope, Officer Wanban was sending emergency messages to every hegemony ship in nearby space. Colony ship destroyed. Repeat, Prosperity has been destroyed by unknown forces from planet surface. Request immediate military assistance. As the surviving ships reached safe distance, everyone stared back at the beautiful blue and green world that had just killed 50,000 innocent people. The planet looked exactly the same as before, peaceful and quiet. How is this possible? Captain Minsu asked quietly. Our best scanners found nothing down there. Nothing at all. Dr. Hunwoo, the fleet science officer, was studying the attack data. Whatever hit us was more advanced than anything in the hegemony database. This was not an accident or natural phenomenon. Someone or something on that planet deliberately destroyed prosperity. The horrible truth was becoming clear. The planet they thought was empty had been watching them all along. 3 weeks after the prosperity disaster, Admiral Tae-hyun arrived, with the biggest war fleet the hegemony had ever sent to one system. 30 massive warships surrounded the mysterious planet, their weapons pointed downward at the world that had killed 50,000 innocent people. Admiral Tae-hyun was an old soldier who had fought in wars across the galaxy. He had seen strange things before, but nothing like this. A planet that looked empty but could destroy huge spaceships was something completely new. What do we know about the attack? He asked Commander Yuna, his best intelligence officer. Yuna pulled up the data on her screen. The energy beam was incredibly precise, sir. It hit Prosperity exactly where it would cause the most damage. The power level was enormous, but the beam lasted only 3 seconds. Very efficient. Where did it come from? That's the strange part. Our records show the beam started from an area of grassland. When we scanned that spot before, we found nothing. No buildings, no technology, not even large rocks. Dr. Ji-hoon, the fleet's expert on alien life, was studying the planet through powerful telescopes. Admiral, I've been watching that area for days. I still see nothing but empty grass. But something down there is definitely watching us. Tae-hyun nodded grimly. Send down a probe, a small one. Let's see what happens. The probe was the size of a small car, equipped with cameras and sensors. It moved slowly toward the planet's surface, sending back pictures of blue skies and green fields. Everything looked peaceful and normal. For 47 seconds, the probe flew over the grassland, taking pictures and measurements. Then, without warning, another energy beam shot up from the ground. The probe exploded instantly, leaving only scattered metal pieces falling to the earth below. Same energy signature, Yuna reported. Same precision. Whatever's down there is definitely hostile. Lieutenant Sowan looked up from her communication station. Sir, we're getting a transmission from the planet. Audio only. The voice that came through the speakers was calm and clear. It spoke perfect galactic standard, the language used by all hegemony species. Hegemony vessels, you are in violation of protected space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. This is your only warning. The bridge fell completely silent. Everyone stared at the speakers, shocked. After a long moment, Admiral Tae-hyun activated the communication system. Unknown entity, I am Admiral Tae-hyun of the Galactic Hegemony. Under Colonial Expansion Protocol 7, we claim this system. You will identify yourself and prepare for inspection. The answer came back immediately. Protocol 7 requires the target system to be uninhabited. This system is not uninhabited. Withdraw now. Commander Yuna checked her databases quickly. Sir, there's no record of any species from this system. No previous contact, no trade agreements, nothing. Then, who are you? Tae-hyun spoke into the communicator. What species are you? We are the inhabitants of this world. That is all you need to know. Dr. Ji-hoon was excited now. This is incredible. A completely unknown intelligent species with advanced technology. We need to establish proper first contact procedures. They just killed 50,000 people, Yuna reminded him coldly. I don't think they're interested in friendship. Tae-hyun tried again. We can negotiate. The hegemony is always willing to talk with new species. We can reach an agreement that benefits everyone. There is nothing to negotiate, the voice replied. You entered our space without permission. You brought colony ships to steal our world. One ship was destroyed as a warning. If you do not leave immediately, all ships will be destroyed. You're threatening a hegemony fleet? Taehyun couldn't hide his surprise. Do you understand what you're saying? We understand perfectly. We have been watching hegemony ships for many years. We know how your negotiations work. Strong species take what they want from weak species. We are not weak. Lieutenant So-won was monitoring all communication channels. Sir, they're not using any known transmission methods. The signal is coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's like the whole planet is talking to us. Dr. Jahoon was looking at his instruments with wonder. The technology required for this kind of communication is beyond anything we have, and we still can't see any cities or structures down there. Maybe they live underground, suggested Commander Yuna. Or maybe they're hiding in ways we can't imagine, Taehyun said quietly. The mysterious voice spoke again. Admiral Taehyun, you have 1 hour to begin leaving this system. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. And if we refuse? Taehyun asked. Then you will discover what happened to the others who refused. Others? Yuna looked up sharply. What others? But the communication had ended. The planet was silent again, looking as peaceful and empty as ever. Sir, So-won reported, I'm detecting movement in the asteroid belt. Something big is moving out there, but I can't get a clear reading. Taehyun stared at the beautiful blue and green world below. Somewhere down there, an unknown species was watching his every move. They had technology advanced enough to destroy his ships, but they were still giving him a chance to leave peacefully. Send a message to Hegemony Command, he ordered. Tell them we've made contact with a new species. Tell them this species is very dangerous and very advanced, and tell them we need to be very careful about what we do next. As the hour deadline approached, Taehyun had to make the hardest decision of his military career. Did he risk his fleet and crew to claim this world? Or did he retreat and admit that the mighty hegemony had been beaten by a species no one had ever seen? After 5 days of tense silence, Admiral Taehyun decided to try something different. Instead of threats or demands, he sent a simple message to the planet below. Unknown inhabitants, I am Admiral Taehyun. I want to talk, not fight. Many people died when your ship was destroyed. Help me understand why this happened. Help me prevent more deaths. For hours there was no response. Then finally the voice came back. But this time it sounded different. Less cold, more tired. Admiral Taehyun, this is Colony Administrator Dongyun of New Seoul Settlement. I speak for the human colonists of this world. The bridge erupted in confused voices. Commander Yuna quickly searched the galactic databases on her computer. Sir, humans are listed as a pre-contact species from a planet called Earth. They're not supposed to have space travel yet. The human voice continued, and now Taehyun could hear sadness in it. We know what your databases say about us. We departed Earth 237 years ago aboard a generation ship called New Horizon. We've been living on this world ever since. Dr. Jahoon leaned forward, fascinated. A generation ship? That means they traveled for decades to get here. But how did they develop such advanced technology? We've been listening to galactic communications for over a century, Donghyun explained. We learned your languages, studied your politics, watched your wars. Most importantly, we learned how dangerous it is to be discovered by stronger species. Lieutenant So-won was checking her communication equipment. Sir, the signal is definitely coming from the planet's surface, but I still can't pinpoint the exact location. Another voice joined the transmission, female this time. This is Settlement Engineer Minji. Admiral, we've watched 12 different species survey this system over the past 50 years. We know exactly how the galaxy works. The strong rule the weak. We decided long ago that we would not be ruled. Admiral Taehyun felt a chill run down his spine. You've been watching us all this time? Watching our survey teams? Every probe, every scan, every exploration mission that was really looking for new worlds to conquer, Minji replied. We learned that being discovered in this galaxy means being enslaved or destroyed, so we made sure we wouldn't be discovered. Commander Yuna was studying her tactical displays. Sir, if they've been watching us for decades, they know all our ship designs, all our weapons, all our tactics. The colony ship you destroyed was a tragedy we deeply regret, Dongyun's voice continued. But we could not let 50,000 armed colonists land on our world. Once they were here, more would follow. Then your military, then your government. We've seen it happen to dozens of other species. But how are you hiding? Dr. Jihoon asked. Our scans show no cities, no technology, nothing. A new voice answered, older and wiser. This is Agricultural Minister Kyung-soo. We've had over 2 centuries to prepare for this day. Every building, every vehicle, every piece of equipment is designed to look like natural landscape from space. Impossible, whispered Yuna. You can't hide entire cities. You can if you build them correctly, Kyung-soo replied. Our cities are underground, built into mountains, hidden beneath forests. Our factories look like lakes. Our defensive weapons look like hills and trees. Admiral Taehyun was beginning to understand the incredible scope of what these humans had accomplished. How many of you are there? Enough, came the simple answer from Dongyun. And we've spent every single day of the past 200 years preparing for the moment when someone would try to take our world away from us. Another voice joined the conversation, younger and more technical. This is Communications Officer Jisoo. Admiral, we've been monitoring your fleet since you arrived. We know every ship class, every weapon system, every weak point. We know that you have 30 ships, but only 18 are fully combat ready. The accuracy of this information shocked everyone on the bridge. Jisoo was exactly right about their fleet status. We don't want to fight you, Donghyun said sadly. We're not conquerors like so many species in this galaxy. We just want to live in peace on the world we've spent centuries building. But you'll fight if you have to, Taehyun said. It wasn't a question. Yes, came the firm reply. We've learned that peace is only possible when you're too dangerous to attack. We are Earth's children, Admiral. We learned from our ancestors' mistakes. We will never again be conquered by anyone. Dr. Jihoon was looking at his readings with amazement. The energy signatures I'm detecting suggest they have technology far beyond what we thought possible for a single planet. We've had a long time to develop it, said Engineer Minji. And we've had strong motivation. When your only choices are freedom or death, you become very creative. Admiral Taehyun realized he was facing something completely new in galactic history, a species that had chosen to hide until they were strong enough to defend themselves, a people who had spent centuries preparing for this exact moment. What do you want from us? He asked quietly. Leave our system, Donghyun answered. Forget you ever found us. Mark this system as dangerous and uninhabitable in your databases. Let us continue living in peace. And if we refuse, then you'll discover that humans can be far more dangerous than we appear. As Admiral Taehyun looked down at the peaceful blue and green world, he realized that everything had changed. The galaxy had just met Earth's children, and they were nothing like anyone expected. The message from Hegemony High Command arrived 2 days later. Admiral Taehyun read it 3 times, hoping he had misunderstood something. But the orders were clear and simple. High Counselor Vextar's voice came through the communication system, cold and commanding. Admiral Taehyun, a single primitive species cannot be allowed to defy the hegemony. These humans destroyed one of our ships and threatened our fleet. This is an act of war. Sir, with respect, these humans are not primitive, Taehyun replied. Their technology appears to be more advanced than ours in many ways. Impossible, Vextar snapped. They have no space fleet, no orbital stations, no visible cities. They are hiding in caves like animals. One lucky shot does not make them powerful. Commander Yuna looked worried as she listened to the conversation. She had been studying the human transmissions for days and knew they were dealing with something far more dangerous than High Command understood. Deploy the full sector fleet, Vextar continued. 600 warships should be enough to crush whatever defenses they have cobbled together. Take that planet by force and establish a military colony. Make an example of them. Sir, I strongly recommend we try diplomacy first, Taehyun said. These people seem reasonable. They're defending their home, not attacking ours. The decision is made, Admiral. The sector fleet will arrive in 10 days. You will prepare detailed attack plans for a full planetary invasion. The transmission ended, leaving Taehyun staring at his silent communication panel. Around him, his bridge crew looked shocked and worried. 600 ships, Dr. Jihoon whispered. That's enough firepower to destroy entire continents. Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, Defense Coordinator Youngmin was meeting with the Human Colony's Leadership Council. They sat in a conference room that looked like a natural cave, but was actually buried 3 kilometers underground beneath what appeared to be farmland. The hegemony fleet is growing larger, reported Communications Officer Jisoo. Our long-range sensors detect massive ship movements from at least 12 different systems. They're bringing everything they have. Agricultural Minister Kyung-soo activated the holographic display that showed their defensive network. Hundreds of concealed installations appeared as tiny lights scattered across every continent. 237 years of preparation, he said quietly. Every mountain chosen for its defensive position. Every forest modified to hide our weapons. Every river and lake turned into part of our defense system. Settlement engineer Minji pointed to orbital positions around the planet. Our space-based defenses have been in position for decades, hidden among the asteroids and small moons. The hegemony scanners see them as natural rocks. How many weapons do we have total? Asked Youngman. Over 10,000 major defensive installations, Minji replied, plus countless smaller systems. We can defend every square kilometer of this planet if necessary. Jisoo looked up from her monitoring station. I'm intercepting communications between Admiral Taehyun and his fleet. He's trying to convince his commanders that we're dangerous, but they don't believe him. What are they saying? Most of them think we're just a primitive species with 1 or 2 hidden weapons. They're planning a standard planetary invasion. Land troops capture major population centers, force surrender. Youngman shook his head sadly. They don't understand what they're walking into. Should we try to warn them? Asked Dr. Sung-hoon, the colony's chief medical officer. We don't want to kill thousands of soldiers if we can avoid it. We've already warned them, Kyung-soo replied. We told them to leave. They're choosing to ignore our warning. Back in space, Admiral Taehyun was trying one last time to make his superiors understand. He called a meeting with all his ship commanders using secure communication channels. Listen to me carefully, he told them. These humans have been preparing for over 2 centuries. They have technology we don't understand. They've been watching us and learning about us for decades. Captain Minsu, who had escaped the destruction of the Prosperity, supported Taehyun. The Admiral is right. The attack on Prosperity was impossibly precise. These people know exactly what they're doing. But most of the other commanders disagreed. Captain Ryujin of the battleship Dominator laughed. Come on, Admiral. 1 hidden weapon does not make them a threat to 600 warships. We'll overwhelm them with sheer numbers. Their planet looks completely empty, added Captain Jeho. If they had real defenses, we would see them. They're probably hiding in underground bunkers, hoping we'll go away. Lieutenant Sowan was monitoring the human communications when she detected something that made her blood freeze. Sir, she called to Admiral Taehyun. I'm picking up massive energy buildups all across the planet's surface. Hundreds of locations are powering up simultaneously. On the planet below, Youngman was giving the order that would change galactic history. All defensive systems to active status. If the hegemony fleet crosses the inner system boundary, consider it an act of war. Across the planet, mountains began to split open, revealing massive weapons that had been hidden for decades. Forests of trees suddenly showed their true nature as camouflaged defense towers. Even the planet's beautiful lakes began to glow as underwater weapon systems came online. The hegemony fleet was approaching what they thought was a helpless world defended by frightened primitives. Instead, they were about to discover that Earth's children had turned an entire planet into the most advanced fortress in the galaxy. The greatest misunderstanding in galactic history was about to become the shortest war. The hegemony sector fleet arrived like a storm of metal and fire. 600 warships spread across the star system, their weapons charged and ready. Admiral Taehyun watched from his flagship as the massive fleet prepared for what High Command believed would be an easy victory. "All ships report ready for planetary assault," announced Captain Ryujin over the fleet communication channel. "Let's show these primitives what happens when you attack the hegemony." Admiral Taehyun made one final attempt to prevent disaster. "Fleet Command, I request permission to try diplomatic contact one more time." "Denied," came the cold reply from High Command. "Begin the attack immediately." On the planet's surface, Defense Coordinator Youngman stood in the main command center, watching the approaching fleet on holographic displays. Around him, hundreds of human operators sat at control stations, their faces calm but determined. "All defensive systems are active and ready," reported Settlement Engineer Minji. "Every installation is connected and coordinated. We can track every enemy ship simultaneously." Communications Officer Jisoo looked up from her station. "Admiral Taehyun is trying to contact us, but the other ships are jamming his signals." "He tried to warn them," Youngman said quietly. "Now it's too late." The hegemony fleet crossed the inner system boundary at exactly 14:23 Galactic Standard Time. The attack began 30 seconds later. What happened next lasted exactly 18 minutes and changed galactic history forever. As the first wave of hegemony warships entered the planet's gravity field, the world below transformed completely. Mountains that had stood peacefully for centuries split open like flowers, revealing enormous weapons that had been hidden inside. The energy signatures were so powerful that every scanner in the hegemony fleet overloaded instantly. "Impossible," Captain Ryujin shouted as his instruments went crazy. Where did all these weapons come from? Forests across every continent suddenly blazed with coordinated energy fire. What had appeared to be natural trees were actually camouflaged defense towers, thousands of them, all firing at once with perfect accuracy. Even the planet's beautiful aurora began pulsing in deadly patterns. The dancing lights in the upper atmosphere were revealed to be massive orbital defense platforms that had been cloaked for decades. Admiral Taehyun watched in amazement and horror as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled. But something incredible was happening. The human weapons were not trying to destroy the hegemony ships. Every shot was precisely calculated to disable rather than kill. "They're targeting our engines and weapons," reported Commander Yuna in wonder, "but they're leaving life support systems completely untouched." Captain Minsu's ship, New Hope, was one of the first to be disabled. As his engines shut down and his weapons went offline, he realized that his crew was completely safe. "They could have killed us all," he whispered, "but they chose not to." Dr. Ji-hoon was monitoring the attack from his science station. "The coordination is incredible. Thousands of separate weapon systems, all working together like a single organism. This planet isn't just defended, it's been transformed into a living fortress." One by one, the hegemony warships found themselves powerless, drifting in space with their crews unharmed, but their ships completely disabled. The humans had turned the most powerful fleet in galactic history into harmless metal shells in less than 20 minutes. As the last hegemony ship stopped moving, a transmission came from the planet. Defense Coordinator Youngman's voice was calm and professional. "Admiral Taehyun, your fleet is disabled but intact. We have prepared repair stations in orbit. Your people will be safe while we discuss terms." 3 days later, Admiral Taehyun stood in a conference room that looked like a natural cave but was actually part of a vast underground city. Across from him sat the human leaders, and he was surprised by how ordinary they looked. Settlement Administrator Dong-yun appeared to be middle-aged, wearing simple work clothes. He could have been a farmer or a teacher, not the leader of the most advanced military force in the galaxy. "You could have destroyed us completely," Taehyun said quietly. Dong-hyun nodded. "Yes, our weapons were designed to be capable of that, but destroying you was never our goal." "Then what do you want?" Agricultural Minister Kyung-soo leaned forward. "We want what every living being wants, Admiral, the right to exist peacefully in our own home. The Hegemony Council will not accept this defeat easily," Taehyun warned. "Then they will learn what we learned long ago," said Defense Coordinator Youngman. Some places cannot be conquered, only respected. Some people choose when to reveal themselves. The negotiations took 2 weeks. The final agreement was unlike anything in galactic history. The humans agreed to limited trade and cultural exchange, but strictly on their own terms. They would share some of their defensive technologies in exchange for recognition of their complete sovereignty. Most importantly, they established a new principle in galactic law: the right of any species to remain hidden until they chose to reveal themselves. As Admiral Taehyun's repaired flagship prepared to leave the system, he received one final message from Young Min. Tell the galaxy that Earth's children are no longer hiding. We are here, we are staying, and we have learned that sometimes the best way to keep peace is to be too dangerous to attack. The blue and green world grew smaller as Taehyun's ship departed, but he knew the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had announced itself not with conquest or grand speeches, but with a simple, devastating demonstration that some freedoms were worth any price to defend. In the months that followed, dozens of other species began asking the same question. If humans could remain hidden for centuries while building the ultimate defense, what other secrets might be waiting among the stars?